Banyak orang menjalankan kehidupan mereka secara autopilot, terutama dalam sektor keuangan, di mana mereka tidak mengerti atau mungkin juga tidak peduli mengenai masa depan keuangan mereka dan juga belum merencanakan masa pensiun. Cerdas 5 Menit akan berusaha meningkatkan kesadaran pemirsa terkait bagaimana merencanakan masa pensiun. Dan di studio Metro Manulife, saya Cheryl Tansil sudah hadir bersama Mr. Philip Hampton Smith selaku Executive Vice President and Chairman of Manulife Indonesia. Pagi, Mr. Smith.
Selamat pagi, Cheryl.
Okay, I will refer to the latest survey, which is the quarterly proprietary survey initiated by Manulife recently, shows surprising findings about retirement. Could you share some of those surprising findings?
Well, I wouldn't call them surprising, actually. I mean, I looked at the findings and I thought, well, it's kind of what I suspected, and that is that the fundamental message is that the vast majority of people don't think about retirement until it's too late. And secondly, by the time they do think about retirement, they underestimate what they need to do in order to ensure their retirement is a good one. So some of the findings that we picked up was that almost 70% of Indonesians believe that they will have to work through their retirement. So effectively, they never retire. Outliving their expectancy, so life expectancy is improving with better diet, medical care, etc. And so people alive today, age 60, the chances are they will live to a very long old age, and just most people just are not prepared for that.
Okay, so how this survey can help the Indonesian community?
Well, I think it's a bit of a wake-up call. I mean, sometimes we need to be reminded of things that perhaps we are in our subconscious, and nobody wants to have a miserable retirement. So one of the first things we're trying to do is to make sure that people think about retirement well in advance of the time that they retire. Secondly, that they understand what they have to do to ensure that their retirement needs are fulfilled. And thirdly, I think, is also to ensure that they really understand the overall cost of retirement to them as individuals.
Okay, and what kind of products available for retirement?
There are really two phases in terms of retirement. The first phase is what we call, in the business, the accumulation phase. So that's the phase, building up to retirement when you want to save money. So it's very, very important that you start saving early. A lot of studies show that if you start too late, even if you start saving a lot of money late in your life, it's just too late to accumulate the assets that you need. So that is what I call the pre-retirement phase, or the accumulation phase or savings phase. And then there's what we call the deaccumulation phase. So this is the spending phase. So this is when you're no longer earning money, but when you're basically using the money you've saved, obviously, to support yourself through your retirement. And it's crucial, obviously, therefore, you have a big enough pot of money to be able to do that for an extended period, for long enough. So there are products that deal with both.
I'm around 30, so it's not too late for me to
Well,
start
I'm around
planning.
50, so it's too late for me if I started today. And so, you're exactly the kind of person that we would like to speak to and educate, because you should be thinking about your retirement in your 30s. I mean, you've got many years to go, but if you start thinking about retirement in your 40s, it's getting too late. So you need to start thinking about your retirement in your 30s.
What is the dangers for people who don't have any retirement plan?
Well, who's going to look after them? I mean, the world is an expensive place. Increasingly governments are finding it very, very difficult to support the people in their golden years, and people are being required more and more to look after themselves. You can't necessarily depend on families these days.
Yeah, but that's our culture here.
Yeah, and that culture is changing, unfortunately in many ways. But the old culture of parents and children looking after their parents, that is all breaking down these days. So you really have to take responsibility for your own retirement these days.
I will start planning my retirement. Demikian pemirsa Cerdas 5 Menit, Cerdas Finansial. Semoga ini bisa mengingatkan Anda untuk segera merencanakan juga masa pensiun Anda dengan bijaksana. Sampai jumpa.
Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks. Nice to speak.